All right, we are live on YouTube. I just need for the video to connect on my other monitor so that I can grab that link and put it in our free business mastermind group so that our members can join us quickly and conveniently here on YouTube and in the live chat. So let me grab that link. All right, we're going to put that in the group. Now we're waiting on that to cycle and post. Okay, great. Now let me just make sure I can see the live chat. And I can. So great, let's get started. Welcome to your First Six Figures morning show, where every show is intentionally more of an interactive coaching and training experience to position Black and Brown female online service-based entrepreneurs to generate your first six figures by learning how to make the money and create time freedom. So this week's blog is at shaycannon.com/launch. That's shaycannon.com/launch. Because what we have been talking about all week and that we're finally closing out the series on is failure to launch. A great offer does not sell itself. How you introduce it makes all the difference. A launch isn't just a date on the calendar. It's the moment you create demand, excitement, and urgency around what you're bringing to the table, your offer. So if done right, it can position you as the go-to expert, turn interested prospects into eager buyers, and fuel your long-term business growth. Okay, so it is important. But I, this week, have brought to you 4 things that are top obstacles to you launching well. Okay, these are the 4 things that most people encounter that makes their launch a failure. So the first thing is mental blocks. Okay, we can do very few things without our mindset being ready for it, right? And there are a lot of things that can cause a mental block to where either you're not going to launch on time or you don't launch at all, or you out here launching wonky. And it's the way that you think about the launch. So if you want more information on the mental blocks and how to solve them, I gave you 10 of those strategies. Go back to Monday's replay. That was part 1. Part 2 is, even if you're ready to launch, a lot of you have not done the work to have someone to launch to. So you have no leads, you have no audience, you are launching to crickets. So if you are launching to no one, who is going to buy? So again, I gave you the top 10 reasons why you have no leads and the solutions to that. Go back to part 2, that was on Tuesday, to find out how to get those leads that you need for your launch. All right. Part 3 was yesterday. We talked about a lack of strategy as the reason why you're failing to launch successfully, and how you need to understand what marketing is in some of the strategies. I gave you another 10 problems to overcome and the solutions. That was yesterday, part 3. So go back to that replay. Today, we're closing the series out with the fact that you have a short runway. Okay. In other words, you don't really have a plan and you're rushing to do something without a plan. So a short runway launches set entrepreneurs up for disappointment, leaving little room to build anticipation, nurture the potential buyers, and create the momentum needed for a successful offer. Again, that is that sales journey. We've talked about it all week. A lot of you have not stopped to think about what is the sales journey for your clients, and we're going to really get into it today. Okay. So a successful launch isn't something you throw together overnight. It's a process that requires time, strategy, and preparation. Yet, many entrepreneurs rush to market without a solid plan, expecting quick results without laying the groundwork for success. Skipping the planning phase often means a lack of an audience engagement, missed opportunities to build anticipation, and ultimately low to no sales. Okay. So a short runway leading up to a launch doesn't give potential buyers enough time to warm up to the idea, trust the offer, and even make a purchase decision or buying decision. Instead of seeing the launch as a single event, it should be treated as a carefully orchestrated campaign that moves people through awareness and interest and action, the sales journey. When you fail to give your launch the time and structure it deserves, you're not just risking a flop, you're leaving money and momentum on the table. The one thing we never want to do, right? All right, so that was the blog. You know, here on the morning show, we go beyond the blog. So let me pull out these show notes where I'm going to tell you, I'm going to share with you, where is it? Here we go. 10 reasons why that you're out here with no plan for your because you can have a strategy, but if you don't plan it out, come on now. So you're out here with no plan for your launch, and this is why you're failing. So I'm gonna give you the top 10 reasons why, and we're gonna give you the solutions. All right. Now, the question for today is going to be, which of the planning strategies mentioned do you need to incorporate for a more successful launch? And will you have an obstacle to applying that strategy? The way things are, we're going to start with Dr. LaFera, but I'll put that in there so y'all can be thinking about it. Put it over here on the YouTube side too, so that they have the question and they can answer in their comments. All right, let's get to these 10 obstacles and the solutions to them, okay? So you have too short of a runway without a plan because you started too late, okay? Waiting until the last minute to plan your launch means you're rushing through critical steps. The solution to that, set a launch date and at least 6 to 8 weeks in advance, reverse engineer your timeline to ensure you got proper time to execute, okay? Now, especially if you're not used to doing launches, you want to give yourself as much time as possible. And let me tell you how this 6 to 8 week range, really, the experts say you should take 3 months to 6 months. Okay, 3 months to 6 months. This is like 2 months to 1.5 months. The lowest you can do is 1 month. Now, if you do 1 month, which I do 1 month campaigns because I've been doing it for so long and I do it for other people. So I got my reps in. Okay. I'm going to show you how I plan mine in 1 month later on. But if you know you've not done this before, okay, if you know you're not inept of the technology, you have to work with other people and you're going to be the bottleneck in getting them what they need, all of that, you need to give yourself even more time. Okay. So the average is going to be about 2 months to 1.5 months. But if you know you've not done this before, err on the side of caution and do 3 months, maybe even start working on it 6 months out. Okay. Cool beans. Number 2, failing to set clear launch goals. Launching without specific revenue, sales, and engagement goals makes it hard for you to measure your success. So this is where KPIs come in, right? Key performance indicators. How do you know what success is if you've never set the bar for success? So that's what that is. We set our bar and then our goal is to work up to that bar, okay? Number 3, skipping the pre-launch phase, expecting people to buy immediately without priming them creates resistance. So the solution to that is going to be use a pre-launch campaign to tease the offer, educate your audience, and generate excitement so that they're ready to buy on launch day. Okay, so we don't just up and have a launch day and start asking people to buy and start trying to do everything in one day. It doesn't quite work well that way. Number 4, poor time allocation. Poor time allocation. What does that mean? You're spending too much time on the branding, the logos, the visuals, instead of money-making activities, okay? There are different pieces to a launch. You cannot spend a whole bunch of time on the pieces that don't even matter the most, okay? Done is better than perfect. So the solution, prioritize your revenue driving tasks like audience building, sales conversion, and follow-up sequences more than minor aesthetic details is a great example, okay? The thing that actually makes you the money is not the thing that most people tend to spend the most time on. So yeah, let's get to the stuff that means something. So again, that is audience building, sales conversion, and follow-up sequences. Number 5, lack of a promotional timeline. Okay, just throwing out posts, throwing out emails randomly. You're not really creating momentum that way. Okay, so a part of your plan should be a structured content calendar that gradually moves your audience from awareness to a buying decision over time. Okay, and that's what I'm going to share with you later on. Number 6, wearing too many hats. Okay, wearing too many hats. DIYing everything leads to burnout and prevents you from executing effectively. Okay, so the solution is you need to delegate or automate some of this stuff, whether it be the graphics, the scheduling of the content, the tech setup, something. Okay, because you need to be focused on, if nothing else, sales and engagement. Now, if you don't have a team, guess what? That's why you need a longer runway. so that you're not burning yourself out trying to get this stuff done. So early on, you would be doing your graphics, right? And your landing pages and all the things. And then you have time to get into doing each piece of it without being burnt out. All right. So wearing too many hats and then not giving yourself enough time if you are wearing all the hats. Number 7, not creating a launch specific offer stack. Okay. Let me tell you, most of us have an offer that is available at all times. Okay. So why would we buy it just because you're talking about it more this week? But if you create a launch specific or promotion specific offer stack, that's, bonuses and extras and whatever, then now might be the time they get off the fence about buying it, because they would have bought it before at regular price and with just what you're offering. But now they get this price and they get all the extra stuff that gets them off the fence to buy during your campaign. So it is a huge mistake that if you're doing all of the work to do a campaign and put it together, to at the end pitch the same thing you pitch every day anyway. Okay. Or that you would pitch every day after you have launched this. So keep that in mind. Number 8, underestimating the follow-up phase, assuming that if people don't buy on day 1, they're not interested. That's not true. How many times have you bought when you were reminded to buy? You were presented with something, you thought, oh, I want to get that, I'm going to get that. It's just inconvenient for you to buy it right now. Then you forget about it. You need reminding. So that follow-up phase, your people are going to need reminding too. They're going to need pushes. They're going to need urgency so that they have another chance to buy before this sale, this campaign ends. Okay. So plan for multiple follow-ups via email, via social media, and even some personal outreach. Most buyers need multiple touch points before they actually commit to the sale. Okay. Number 9, launching once and quitting too soon. Expecting massive sales from a single launch and giving up when results aren't immediate. So the first time you do it, it's called a launch. Every time after that, it's really a promotional thing. We're just going to call them all launches for the sake of this interaction, right? When you launch one time, you're supposed to be launching to get feedback and sales, okay? So that's why we have the KPIs to see where we're successful with it. That data allows us to launch again better, okay? Or have the next promotional campaign and be better, and then the next one be better, and the next one be better. We don't just sell something one time and then decide it's not worth it. That's not what we're doing. That's not what businesses do. They have multiple campaigns of promotion for an offer, okay? Number 10. Oh, well, I didn't give you my printed solution. So the printed solution was treat launches as iterative, okay? Analyze what worked, refine your approach, and relaunch with your improvements. Okay, number 10, ignoring post-launch nurturing. Focusing only on the launch itself and forgetting to re-engage non-buyers afterward, okay? So how that can look is, I usually have in a funnel, I usually have everything that leads up to the launch. And then once the actual offer has been pitched, there's a whole post-pitch part of a funnel that I call the actual promo. And so again, I think I told y'all this once this week. What I'm doing is I'm not just reminding you to buy the product again or the offer again. I'm giving you some extra value so that you will open the email. And then when you open the email, you're getting that extra little value. And then I'm reminding you to buy. Okay. So your subject lines can't be, your offer will go away soon. Okay. That's not giving me value. I'm probably not going to open that. Okay, so you want to give value. The subject line needs to be about that value. And then when they open the email, they get a payoff on that value. And then they are reminded to buy. And that needs to be several emails, at least 5 to 7. Okay, so that is your post-launch nurturing. All right. Again, the question is, which of the planning strategies mentioned do you know you need to incorporate for a successful launch? And would you have any obstacle to applying it? We're going to start with Dr. LaFera. But first, let me go back through the 10 without all the extras so that you are reminded. Dr. LaFera, you can go ahead and be unmuting. All right. So the first one was starting too late. Number 2 was failing to set clear launch goals. Number 3 is skipping the pre-launch phase. Number 4, poor time allocation. Number 5, lack of a promotional timeline. Number 6, wearing too many hats. Number 7, creating a launch specific offer stack. Number 8, underestimating the follow-up phase. Number 9, launching once and quitting too soon. Number 10, ignoring the post-launch nurturing. So Dr. LaFera, which one do you think will be the most impactful for your business? And would you have any problems applying it?
I've done all of those, but I think that having a better timeline would be more helpful to me.
Yeah, yeah. I think that for us, even those of us that are used to doing launches, having a better timeline is always probably going to be a thing. So thank you for that, Dr. LaFera. Dr. Latoya, which of the planning strategies mentioned do you know you need to incorporate for a more successful launch? And would you have any obstacles to applying the strategy?
I'm gonna go with also probably having a better timeline. I tend to do a 3-week a 3-week launch window. So probably pushing it out a little bit to a month because something always happens, which makes that not feasible. So just giving myself more time on the front end will probably be less stressful and better results.
Love it, love it. All right, let's go to Cheryl. Cheryl, which of the strategies for planning a launch do you think we be most impactful for your business, and would you have any problems applying it?
Mine is the same thing, having a better timeline. What I have discovered is that different offers uh, need a different timeline in many cases. Some I can pop up in 30 days and it's a success. Others, it is going to take that longer time. And that's where I am.
Gotcha. Awesome, awesome. All right, Shawana Kennedy, Kennedy Media. You're up. Which of the planning strategies mentioned do you know you need to incorporate for more successful launches? And would you have any obstacles to applying the strategy?
No obstacles, but I'll take timeline for 500, Jay.
Yeah, timeline. We're gonna talk about that. But yeah, I mean, we just need to get better at putting this stuff end to end, right? So once you start with your launch date, and then you backdate everything needed for that launch, right? You can't just pick a date and think it's gonna happen. You pick the date and you backdate how long it's gonna take you to get everything done so that things are ready for the launch on the date that you picked. But then we need to understand that when we need basically at least one launch per month. So how do we put these end to end, right? How does that look? So yeah, thank you for that, Shawana. Dr. Ayana, which of the planning strategies mentioned do you know you need to incorporate for a more successful launch? And do you have an obstacle to applying your strategy?
Very good morning, everyone. Truth be told, the entire concept of launching period had been kind of a nebulous idea to me. So let's just say all of them. However, because I didn't really have a formal concept of the launch process or the launch, idea, number 2 would be the one that rises to the top, not, setting clear goals, because I didn't have a clear concept of what launching really looked like, particularly for my industry. So I have to set clear goals, and then everything else will fall in place, not just, randomly doing things and not understanding and not knowing that these may be parts of a launch, but they need to be formally set in an organized funnel type of pattern. So failure to set the goals and engaging people properly, using the KPIs to really measure what I'm doing and whether it's working, instead of being so random and not really realizing that this is launching. So yeah, that's
well,
it.
you're really gonna like what I have to show you later. So this might be one of those replays that you need to bookmark because I am definitely gonna share more. All right, cool beans. Let's go to Dr. Tachi. Dr. Tachi, which of the planning strategies mentioned do you know you need to incorporate for a more successful launch? And do you have any obstacles to applying that strategy?
I would say the specific offer stack or promo, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I never thought about it in terms of the way you were putting it, in terms of a launch offer stack, which means it could be all the time. And the thing that that I think about is with, for example, P Cloud. They
Mhm.
always do, that's what it seems like they do all the time. They're
Yes.
always doing that type of thing. And consequently, I always buy extra storage space because I know I need it, but
Mhm.
the deals are usually so good. I'm like, oh, I could use an extra X terabytes. So,
Yeah. And if you go back to the Clarity Clinic, that was a part of that, right? Like what were going to be your different tiers of discount pricing, and what were going to be the bonuses at each tier. So let me share mine. I just pulled up my Clarity thing. So as an example, so we're talking about the Freedom Roadmap, right? Which is the done for you strategy session. The value of it is 10K because it's going to help you get to your 100K, right? The regular price is 5,500, and then I have bonuses at the regular price. Then the promo price is 4,500. Then I have the bonuses for that promo price, which is probably the price I will use during a promotional campaign, right? Now, the lowest price I'm going to do it for is 3,500. And then these are going to be the two bonuses that are very different than the other bonuses. And so you have to know what are going to be your price points, what is going to be the offer stack, or what you're giving them in addition to the main offer during these different times. Because why would I give you all of the same bonuses at the very lowest price? Right? Like I'm not going to do that. And this the bonus here is probably going to be worth way more than the bonus here. So it just depends. So this is just an example of how I have it laid out, so that when I get ready to do the sales page for that promotion, I got all the information that I need because that was planned out in the beginning. Okay. So that's just an example of that. And I don't know what happened to, oh, here we go. Cool beans. All right. So that's an example of that. So hopefully that's helpful. And but Dr. Tachi, that is back in that Clarity Clinics information. All right, Kimberly, you can use the studio chat. We know you're probably at the Dream Funder. So we're going to go to Sasha. Sasha, we know you may not have planned your stuff yet, but in hearing these planning strategies, which one do you feel like will benefit you the most in the future? And do you have any obstacles to applying the strategy?
Yeah, so I've actually thought about a lot of this. So luckily, my corporate job right now, I work for Home Depot as a marketing manager. And so I work on like our paid media campaigns. So we do a lot of the, like all of that we do in that. So I'm able to take that experience, super helpful
Mhm.
with my own business, but I'm also noticing that like I like forget some of that when I work on my personal business. So one especially that I felt I took away with like launch specific offers. Heather, when I first started talking to Heather about this, that was one thing that she pointed out too. So I just took another note on that. Some of the obstacles that I'm facing in my personal business is like the better time allocation. I was spending so much time on like my logo, trying to do it myself in Canva, driving myself crazy, and like the color palette and things like that, where I finally was just like, I'm just gonna stop because I want to work more on the strategy and
Yes.
like the meat of my business instead of the little things that I could probably have someone else do on Fiverr or something like that. And then also like the wearing too many hats. I tend to not ask for help. I think a lot of us are probably like that. Don't ask for help. But I'm gonna need to delegate so I can focus more on like what you said, like the sales and engagement part of it. But I was also laughing because I had to go in the office yesterday. I'm usually work from home because we're partnering with this influencer designer who's kind of well known. And we're supposed to launch tomorrow. And we literally barely followed any of this because it was such a fast turnaround. So I was laughing. It's been like a crazy, like we signed the contract and like had to get it launched so fast that we did not follow all of this, but I would not do it that way again if we could avoid it because it was way too stressful.
Yeah, it's very stressful. I had a client that she would always be thinking of an idea one week and want to launch next week. And I used to have to always tell you're dragging your team when you do that. Like you're
Yeah.
keeping us in utter exhaustion because we're always having to react to your thoughts rather than you actually planning things out. And that's why your shit don't look good when it launches.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Luckily,
So
it was like we're doing like a product partnership where she designs wallpaper.
yeah.
So her followers, she has like 2 million followers.
Mhm.
They have been waiting for it. So we were trying to get it up as soon as possible because we give exclusivity. But typically, yes, I would follow all of this for my
Yeah,
personal
but
job and
I'm gonna tell
personal.
you too, though, Sasha, that when you have a templated way that you do things, even if you don't have the full timeline, at least you have the checklist of everything that needs to
Yeah.
be done.
Yeah.
And so that's still helpful. Just like you said, like you spend way too much time on the colors and the logos. Well, if you had your brand guide, right? With that brand guide, stuff is pretty much going to follow a pattern every time.
Yeah, I
So
started
my
that.
brand guide is I
Yeah.
do a logo for everything that I launch. Everything that I launch has its own logo, but we already know what colors it's going to be. We already know what fonts we're going to use. We already know what the word to be emphasized is going to be in script and all of this. You know, we already know that. So it's done quickly. The color palette doesn't change. So,
Yep.
you know, even if you're the only one doing it, when you have these templated things and these checklists, you actually get it done quicker. Now, you're still going to be stressed out if you don't have enough time, but at least you get it done quicker and it's not so much of a clusterfuck at the end, right?
Yeah.
So cool. All right, y'all. Do we have any questions about, you know what? I want you to hold your questions. Let me go ahead and do this presentation. Oh, wait, Dr. Touch, you already got one? Let's go ahead and get yours in.
Well, it was regarding what you just said about your logos, that you
Mhm.
create a separate logo for each thing you launch. Now, are those things that are separate entities that you have to trademark or no?
No. No,
Okay.
it's really for brand recognition. I'm not trademarking, but so Dr. Tachi, you've seen it before. Every workshop y'all have been a part of has had its own logo. I mainly use text logos. And so it's always going to be the same type of block logo and the same type of script logo. In fact, what I'm about to present is a great example of that. So let me go ahead and pull it up. Okay, and see, this moved to the wrong side of the thing. Here we go. Okay, so this was a workshop, right? 90-day content plan. I always am going to use that block and this script. Now the block is going to be there's going to be one that's bold. Like if there are going to be 3 lines, it's going to be one that's bold and one that's thin. So I have, you know, my templated way of how I do the logos, and they're usually text logos, and they're always in my brand colors are all white or all black. What is this thing coming up? Please go away. Okay, so this came from a workshop, 90-day content plan. This will not be included in the show notes, but you can come back to this replay. Okay, so who's talking? Somebody saying something. Oh, Kimberly said I had someone say standing at my desk. I will rewatch the replay and answer the question because I missed it. All right, just listen in, and the replay will be there for you, Kimberly. All right, so 90-day content plan. Your content plans on social media and elsewhere should line up with your promotional campaigns, with your launch campaigns, okay? And so I have, like I said, that checklist, that plan that I fill in every time I do one, okay? So I'm going to share it with you. So first of all, I do this for every month of the year. And then I have to have on here, like, what is the month? I usually go by quarter, which is why that says month 1. So I decide what is the offer that is going to be promoted in that month. Then I start asking my questions about each campaign, okay? What is going to be the sales event that we actually use to give value and then pitch the offer? Who is it for, right? Because your different levels of offer could be for different subsets of your avatar. What problem does it solve? What is the solution the offer brings? Because I'm priming my focus on these things, okay? And the reason why I do this is because sometimes we're thinking about the done for you client, right? But we're launching something for the do-it-yourself client, and how you talk to them are going to be different. So this is going to focus me and the team on everything that we're doing for this particular campaign. So then what are going to be the pain points associated with this campaign that we need to be using in our sales copy? What are the pain point keywords? Wait a minute. Yeah, okay, so the pain points could be a phrase, but then what are the keywords? And keywords, think of it as one of them is what we call it, and the next one, the keywords, would be what the client calls it, okay? Because we need to be using the words that they use. We talked about that earlier with positioning and messaging. All right, what are going to be some of the content topics that we talk about based on these pain points? We're going to use these topics to create content around as part of the nurturing the sales journey leading up to the pitch of the offer, the launch of the offer. All right, what does life with the solution look like, right? What is their desired end result, the desired transformation? What are the keywords? What do they call it? What are going to be topics we talk about that's around that using the keywords? Where are we going to put our content? I have a 3S content system. I have a star platform, a secondary platform, and a seed platform. The seed platform only gets stuff repurposed to it. The star platform is the one I really, really focus on. I really do things to appease the algorithm of that particular platform. And the secondary, I repurpose some and I do some for their algorithm as a combination. So this is what my marketing runway looks like for a 4-week campaign. All right. The first week, I'm going to be seeding the dream with my content. Okay. The second week, I'm going to be hitting those pain points with that content. The third week, I'm actually going to be promoting the sales event and have the sales event. Okay. What is a sales event? It could be a webinar. It could be a challenge. It could be an online training, whatever. It could be a virtual conference, a summit, whatever you want the event to be, where at the end, you're going to pitch your offer. Okay. It could be a live Q&A, whatever you want it to be. Okay. And then the fourth week is our follow-up week. We're in promotion, because at the end of that sales event from the week before, we've already pitched the offer. From the moment that we pitch the offer, everything else is now promotion. Okay. But that doesn't mean we're not still giving value. But this is my follow-up phase. So let's go back through it. I talk about the transformation, the dream. I talk about the pain points. Keep in mind, I'm only seeding. I have not mentioned what I'm selling yet. But I have your attention on this transformation. I have your attention on your obstacles to that transformation. Then I invite you to something that's going to talk about that transformation. And then I pitch you my solution. And then the following week is when I follow up. Okay. So this is the runway that I use. So seeding the dream. I usually do blogs that I could do a blog that does that. And then I have my 4 little bullet points. Then I say, okay, when are we going to publish that? What is the focus of the copy? What is going to be the focus of the visual that I use? And what do I need any outside references? Like sometimes I talk about outside gurus or whatever. Y'all know I love me some Simon Sinek, some Mel Robbins, some Gary Vee. So I might take a quote from somebody, something like that. All right. Then week 1, right? I'm going to say, okay, this is my live stream. These are the things I'm going to talk about on a live stream, because live stream is one of the ways I do my content. Then paid traffic. I need to plan that out. So what is the budget? What platform, copy, visual, what's going to be the call to action, and what are going to be the dates of this campaign? All right. Now on my star platform, what am I going to talk about every day that week? Okay. We're going to do the same thing with the secondary one, and we're going to do the same thing. Oh, so I forgot. The third one is just a repurpose, so it didn't matter. I don't plan that one. So then I get deep into the details. Week 1, okay, what is the subject matter of day 1? What is going to be the visual look like? When are we going to schedule it? When is it actually published? And we do the same thing for the secondary. Okay. Now this is one for each day. So we're going to skip across this because this is day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. So all of that is the same. All right. And then we do the same thing with the pain points. Okay. So I went through week 1 of the dream, the transformation, and I did all those things. I'm going to do all the same things, but now we're going to concentrate on the pain points. So I'm still going to know what blog is that going to be. Okay. Then I'm going to want to know what live streams is that going to be. What paid traffic is going to look like for that week. And again, the star and the secondary platforms. All right. So I'm going to go through this because y'all know we do that for 5 days again. And then we are promoting the sales event. So guess what we're doing? The same stuff. We do the same stuff. It just has a different focus and it has a different strategy that's for a different reason, right? But we're doing the exact same task. All right, promotion week. Same task, different reason. Now, notice how on here, I don't necessarily have the funnel stuff on here. But I have everything else. And your funnel stuff really just follows what you're doing on social. So anything you have in an email should go further than what you did on social. So you give more information. All right. Now, Dr. Tachi said, this is lovely. Dr. Ayana said, help me, Holy Ghost. That's funny, Dr. Ayana. Okay. So to go along with that, we have our KPIs. So I always start my campaigns off with baseline data, okay? I want to know where all of my stuff is before I start the campaign. Because how else, I mean, if you start collecting these numbers after that campaign, what weight is it going to hold if you don't know where you were before the campaign? So I always start off with baseline stuff, okay? My blog stats, the different categories of my platform stats, live stream stats, email stats, right? And then I have the performance data. What was the stats after I did all of these campaigns? Because this is going to be a part of the data that helps me to make decisions to do better for the next one. So I have one for each of the weeks, for each of the phases. Okay. Now I want to know, do you have any questions about what your plan should look like, what your timeline and your phases should look like for your promotional and your launch campaigns? Do you have any, do you understand it? Do you have any questions? Do you have any value adds? Dr. Tachi.
I have a question about the seed phase that you have. Do you find that, have you done other things beyond the blog in that phase, and do you find that the blog is most effective?
I'll tell you that for me, I actually don't use my blog a lot for that. It just depends. What I find most effective is going to be my social media and my email. Because again, it just depends. So if you go back to, because I haven't done a workshop in a while, right? But if you go back to when I would do a workshop, I always put an extra free training in there that week that had to do with the same subject matter as whatever that workshop was. So I used that free training to drive traffic to that. And our blog could be something totally different. And I just reminded y'all about the workshop to push traffic. So there are different ways you can do it, and you can do it differently, you know what I'm saying, than you did it the last time. It just depends. But most of the time I might have my blog post planned out more so than my campaign, or I could have my campaign planned out more so than my blog. And so they don't mesh well. And so that's why I'll put in that extra training that's, 4 days out of that week, and it's pushing you to the workshop. So do you remember me doing that, Dr. Tachi?
I do, yes.
Yeah. Because see, sometimes it could be because the blog is damn near every day, right? The blog, I might have talked about something like that 2 weeks ago. So I don't want to do another blog just because I'm having a sales event, because I feel like that's doing a disservice. So because the whole year wasn't planned out correctly and I went quarter by quarter, then they could clash like that. So that's why I put in that extra free training to do that pushing that the blog would have done. Cool beans. Sasha said this was so helpful. Thank you for sharing. No problem. Anybody else have a question or a value add? Dr. Latoya.
So this is, I guess we'll call it a value add on social media, on Facebook the other day, like maybe 2 days ago. Someone posted, they were like, "Hey, I'm running an experiment. I put on my timeline, tell me when you saw this post." And she put like a screenshot of when she saw the post and the date that she saw and the date that she posted it. And people's response were like, from 3 to 8 days after she had posted the initial post is when they were seeing the post. And what that made me say was, So that started me saying, wait, no, you really do have to push your launches back, because you're relying that people are going to see these posts when you're posting them on social media. And there can be like a 1 to 2 week gap between when someone actually sees what you post. And then this last launch that I did, which was not a success, I launched my Inner Alchemy program. And I know for me, like if I send out an email, I'm going to get a sale.
Yeah.
So if I send out 10 emails, that should be 10 sales, right? Or there can be more, but at least for every email, there will be a sale. And then from social media, I'll also get some type of response. This particular launch, I send out the first 2 emails, I got a sale, and then I started sending out the rest of the emails in the campaign, and crickets. And I'm like, what is happening? And I realized that something was happening with my email deliverability. Turns out my domain got blacklisted. So no one was receiving my emails. So I did a whole launch that no one received the emails to. And were it not for me saying, wait, why, like, what's going on? The pattern is off. Something is wrong. I would have never thought to go back. So then that had me looking at statistics and data and all of that stuff. So all of the things keep coming together. But yes.
Exactly. But that's why also when we do the launch, that's why we have to do our KPIs, right? And that's why a part of the KPIs is going over there and looking on the emails, like what is the open rate? What is the click through? How many unsubscribes? What's the bounce rate? And we do that before and we do that after, because now it might be that when we were just emailing, not asking for anything and not asking for the sale, our numbers were higher. But as soon as we put promotional stuff in there, then we need to know that, because now we need to max the emails to be more value heavy and maybe a PS about the promo. You know what I'm saying? And don't make it so promo heavy. But these things, that's why these things give us that data so that we can kind of do it again. And yeah, to that to the social media, I'd be so mad when I get a notification and they've given me a notification like this was just published, and I get on there, it already got 80 comments and it's been up for a week. I'd be so mad. I'm like, why are you just showing me this? But it's also why some of the people that I know I need to be following for one reason or another, I try to go and check in on their account, not just wait until the notifications come up. But who is being that intentional with their content besides me? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm usually doing it for research purposes. Like lately, I've been researching LinkedIn and LinkedIn newsletters because I'm gonna start one in March. So people that I know have one, I've been intentionally going to their stuff to see what they're doing, to see if I want to adopt any of those strategies, or to look at it and be like, ooh, that's glaringly not something you should be doing. And so I don't want to do that. But yeah, we have to understand that the algorithm is not set up for us to succeed as businesses when we're not doing paid ads, especially Facebook. So that's why I'm happy that, you know, we have our group, but I don't rely heavily on y'all seeing stuff in the group, because this is why we have this live component. This is why we have the announcements at the end, to make sure that you're going in the group and seeing the things, and make sure that you're aware of what's happening and what's going on, because we have to do things other than just post. And if you're giving it just the one day or just a week, then is that enough time? And are you posting it in enough places, even if you have to drive traffic to the post that the algorithm is not working in your favor for? There should be another way that you're driving traffic to it. So thank you for that, Dr. Latoya. Anybody else have a question or a value add around planning? Now, we've done the whole week. Your question could be about the mental blocks. Your question can be about getting leads because you don't have any. Your question could be about the marketing strategies that you're putting into play in the marketing plan, or the marketing plan and the runway. So anybody have any questions or value adds? Cool beans. Well, as you know, this morning show is a huge benefit to our free business mastermind group. It's like class every day. And like with any other class, there are notes. So if you want my show notes that has all of the strategies and the obstacles and solutions that we have discussed in the morning show, there's only 2 ways to get it. The first way is to be a part of and inside of our free business mastermind group, where these notes will live in the file section. However, your second option is get the show notes and the entire show in your email inbox. Go to shaycannon.com/show. And what will happen is you'll get 2 emails every broadcast day. That's Monday through Thursday. One in the morning to remind you to hop on the YouTube live, one in the afternoon that has a link to the replay and a link to the show notes. So go to shaycannon.com/show to get the entire morning show in your email inbox. Tonight is movie club night for our free business mastermind group. The poll has been the deadline to vote on the poll was yesterday. I haven't looked, but I'm gonna look and see which movie won. I was trying to give Cheryl time to go over there and vote before I go look. But let me see if I can see which one has won. Oh, yeah, it don't matter about your vote, Cheryl. So it looks like the movie is going to be Our Customer Society. And let me open it up so I can see what that is about. So it is on YouTube. So last month and this month, I picked movies that are on YouTube because I know some people were fighting with Netflix over the price range. We'll get back to Netflix videos probably starting next month. I've just been trying to pick a platform I knew everybody had access to. So these movies are on or documentaries are on YouTube. They are free to access. And what one was, 75%, Our Consumer Society. It's an hour and 24 minutes, and it's about, they explore our consumer society, looking at the history, philosophy, psychology, and sociology of what consumerism really is. Is it a useful concept? Where did it appear from? Are there alternatives? All of these things. And this stuff is what helps us with our marketing, to get these answers, to know how this stuff works in all of these areas. It helps us with our marketing. So that is what the movie is going to be for tonight. And just so that you know, we meet at 7 p.m. You're supposed to watch the movie before then and be taking notes and pulling out your business nuggets. I'm probably not going to watch it until around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and I will pull out business notes. If you don't have time to watch it, join us anyway, because the discussion will be beneficial whether you watch the movie or not, okay? So the event information is inside of the free business mastermind group. All right, cool beans. To find out more about me, your host, Shay Cannon, and how to get into this highly impactful and valuable free business mastermind group, there are links and information in the description below. All right, if you haven't already, you know you got value, so make sure that you like this episode by giving us a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, and understand this was video 4 of a 4-video series, so make sure you check out the other videos and get all the valuable nuggets that are possible for this series, Failure to Launch. All right, guys, that's it for today and it for this week. The studio is closing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.